All right. Thank you all for getting on tonight. Probably about a month and a half ago, I had watched a Periscope that Chris McCall did that was what would Jules do if they could go back and start over? Knowing what they know now, if they could go back and start over again, what they would change. And so I invited Rachel Neagle, who is one of our Sapphires, Leslie Andrew, who is our Emerald, and then Rachel Rogers, who is very, very tippy edge of Emerald, to jump on and share their thoughts on this, and then I'll read the other half of my notes that I have. So I'm going to let Rachel Neagle go first so that she can jump off when she needs to. Go ahead, Rach.
Thank you guys so much for having grace for me tonight. I don't know if you saw on Facebook, we have a slab leak at our house, so we've been without water for several days, which makes for good times. I did actually get to take a shower today, so I showered you, I want y'all to know. Okay, so I love this subject, and I was so excited when Jessica reached out about this because literally it's probably been about a year ago. I was invited to be part of a jewel panel in Dallas, Texas that was hosted by Celeste. And she had all of her Dallas jewels at that time. She invited me to come. And this was one of the questions that in kind of rapid fire that we were asked about what are some things that we wish that we knew then that we know now. And there's one major thing that sticks out to me. And this may not be news to any of you guys because from that point on, it's become a training point for me. But it has to do with qualifying your ambassadors. And what I mean by qualifying your ambassadors is I think sometimes we're in such a rush to achieve that next level rank. You know, we want to go silver, we want to go gold, that somebody approaches us and we tend to steer them more towards the business side of things than being a preferred customer. And it probably was, I had this conversation with somebody, and you have to understand that my journey was different. My journey to get to Senior Ruby was really quick. And so I was like learning as I was going. And I can remember even at Senior Ruby, I think I had like 12 white lines, which is like unheard of. And then we went into summer where things really slow down. And I started to see more and more white lines or more and more people not commission qualifying every month. And I just honestly didn't understand what the problem was. What I realize now is that there are some people that are truly better left as a preferred customer. If you've got somebody that says, I actually earlier this evening worked the math with somebody on this, like just so you guys know that I've really researched this point of view. The beauty of Plexus is that yes, you get as a wholesale, whether you're going to sell product or whether you're going to be a wholesale customer, right out of the gate, you get basically a 30% discount on products. But sometimes when we don't work the math for people that really have not a strong interest in the business, once you get your preferred customer discount for the first 3 months, and then after that, beginning the 4th month, you get an additional 10% off. That actually comes out to approximately a 25% discount on the products. So for some of these people, it really is the difference between saving like $5. Now, if they're ordering over $100 in PV every month, I strongly encourage you to shift them to the wholesale route, to becoming an ambassador. The problem is, and I probably can get major head nods from Leslie and from Rachel Rogers on this, is as your downline grows, at the end of the month, when you start to look at where are my points going to be, I'm trying to rank up, you will start to see that you have a large number of people who are sitting somewhere between $60 and even $99.95 PV. And it is the most frustrating thing in the world, because every single one of those people that is at that should never have been an ambassador. They should have been a preferred customer. The reason being is they're not getting enough of a benefit from a wholesale discount to justify them being an ambassador. They literally are saving like pennies on the dollar. They're not benefiting the company because they're not helping the pay points. They're not benefiting themselves because they're not able to earn commissions on their own purchases because they're not meeting that 100 PV. And they're not benefiting you because they're not meeting that 100 PV and giving you, 5 points or 4 points or 3 points or whatever it is. If you ever were to go back and calculate what those people would mean in terms of commissions and preferred customer bonuses, had they been left a preferred customer, because clearly they love the products, they order them every month, it will make you sick at your stomach. So that is probably my number one thing that I wish that I knew in the very beginning, was that if somebody is not going to be ordering over 100 PV a month, then I would always encourage that person to be a preferred customer. The second thing that I really wish that I had understood from the very beginning, which again, this probably will not be news to you guys because these are the things that I train on now, is the importance of your 100 person list. I didn't even know what a 100 person list was until I was already Emerald. I'd never heard of it, didn't know how to work it, certainly did not understand what an asset it was. And even if I made the list of 100 people, I really wasn't sure what I was supposed to do with that list. So the benefit of, from the get-go, starting to reach out and make what I call soft touches with people, where maybe it's people who like a post. Maybe you're a brand new ambassador. It's somebody who you posted something about probiotics and they liked it. There's huge benefit in looking back through your likes. Obviously, you've got to sift out the Plexus people from the non-Plexus people. If you're a new ambassador, that's a lot easier to do. And then just really reaching out to those people and being like, oh my gosh, I saw that you liked my post on probiotics. Are you interested in learning more about this amazing probiotic that Plexus has? Or are you just kind of showing your support and solidarity? Either way, thanks, and I'd love to get you more info. So those are probably my two biggest tips that I would have to offer. Jessica, do you have any questions for me before I hop off, or does anybody else? You're still muted. I can't hear you.
I always forget that. I don't have anything. Does anybody have anything for Rachel that they want to ask before she jumps off? I don't see anything. All right, Rach, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us. Thank you.
Thanks for understanding. I would have loved to have been on longer, but we've got issues. So thanks.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
All right. I'm going to let Rogers go next because she's got something else. She's got a good bit going here in just a little bit. So Rachel, do you want to unmute yourself and go for it?
All right. Well, thank you guys again for coming to listen to what we have to say. And I hope that you find this tonight really encouraging. I want to piggyback on something that Nigel said about qualifying ambassadors, just to give you guys a little bit of perspective on this. So like Jess said, I am shooting for Emerald this month and getting very, very, very close. It has been 21 months for me now. So almost 2 years that I have been like, this has been my goal, But just today, I made a list of those people that are sitting between 20 and 99.95 PV. And if all of those people qualified, I would have an extra 200 points and would be like inches away from Emerald. Just if those people in my downline purchased 100 PV. So it is very hard to watch that. And I know a lot of these people are in your downlines, and it's the same thing for you. So it is very, very important that we collectively work together. And this was something that I made the mistake of in the beginning as well, is just signing up people. And then I started having people white line pretty quickly because they should have been customers first. So I really liked that point. I had 3 points written down of things that I really wish that I would have focused on whenever I started. The first one is I wish I would not have Googled Plexus graphics and used anything that you can find on Google to market Plexus. Now that we have the 1 year, 2 years ago, whatever, little pop-up things where Facebook shows you your history, I realize how many graphics. I remember going and searching Plexus on Google and looking at the images, and it's all like all these Plexus salesy graphics. And I've shared with my team a lot about how whenever I switched my focus from selling to sharing and sharing my own experience, I felt like I didn't have, because I started sharing before I even got products in. But I was very salesy in the beginning, and that really didn't do me any bit of good. And whenever I switched my focus and began to share more of the products, what they had done for people that I knew personally, that's when everything changed for me. The second tip that I would give is that I wished I would have focused on building relationships and not just getting a sale. It is really easy in any new business to want to put it out there and be like, okay, I sell Plexus, now let the masses come to me, And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Your potentials are not going to fall from the sky. And in fact, a lot of people are going to be very, very skeptical. A lot of people may be haters. A lot of people may, bash you. It can come from family members. It can come from best friends. My best friend didn't sign up until November of this year. Very best friend. We've been friends for almost 20 years. She was very, very skeptical at first. She even asked me the common question, is it FDA approved? And so I explained to her what the answer to that. But whenever I switched my focus from selling a product to building a relationship and being relational, and really, guys, this takes more time. It does. It takes more time to build a relationship than to just, somebody messages you and says, hey, how can I order Plexus? And you just slap the link in the comments and say, here you go, go buy some Plexus. It takes more time to say, I'm so excited that you're interested in the products. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Tell me what your goals are. Tell me how I can help you, because I really want to walk with you on this journey, and get to know that person a little bit. And that whenever I started doing that and building a relationship with people, it completely changed the course of my business as well. I love the voice message feature because it is very relational. It's so much more relational than reading text. When you're able to hear someone's voice, hear their tone, hear the way that they are intending their message to come across, it just is so much more helpful. The last tip that I had was that I wish, and this is just something that has worked for me personally, but I wish that I would have shared more videos from the beginning. And the reason I say that, so videos have worked really well for me. Videos may not be your niche at all. My mom she hates being on camera, hates being on a video. That is not her niche, and that's okay. That is just a tool in our toolbox that has worked for me and something that I'm very comfortable with. And I wish I would have used that tool early on. It took me a while to get to that point and to realize that would be my niche. So I think finding what you're comfortable with, taking the tool in the toolbox, maybe for you, it is vendor fairs. Maybe you're really comfortable getting in an environment where you can walk around and talk to all these different people that are selling stuff and be interested in their product, and then invite them over to your table to come check out what you're selling. Maybe that's going to be your niche. And for a lot of people, there are jewels that built their entire business on vendor fairs. There are people who built their entire business on Sip and Sees. Sip and Sees are not something that I'm comfortable with them sort of. They're not something that I would personally want to attend. So finding what tool it is that will work for you, something that you're comfortable with and something that you're good at, and sticking with that and doing that from the beginning. And this really comes from us laying out all those tools and saying, okay, here's your toolbox. These are the things that you have to choose from to use. Now pick the one that you're most comfortable with and start using that, and then training everybody on those other tools. I think that that is where us, we as your leaders, can help you out. But for me, that was videos. And if you are comfortable on camera and you are comfortable sharing your personal testimony with the products, or showing somebody your product and being like, okay, so like I just posted today my a hair testimony with the X Factor. I was just going to take a picture and be like, hey, my hair's long, you know, but I was like, this is video worthy, you know, like I got to show people my fluffy hair, you know. And so doing something like that, and like just minutes later, I had a girl message me and say, my hair's falling out. How can I get X Factor? How much is it? And so we started a conversation. And, you know, so finding that niche, finding what does work for you early on, and then utilizing that the entire time, and then kind of stretching yourself and growing with the other tools. That's all I had. Anybody have any questions for me? I'm not going to hop off because I don't have to be on. In fact, Megan West is who I'm doing a call with, and she's on here. So I'll just hang out here because I'd really like to hear what Leslie has to say too. But does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, I'm going to mute myself.
All right, Leslie, you are up, lady.
Hey guys, I really do appreciate you guys jumping on too and listening to what we have to say. It's nice to get to see all of your faces. I have not been doing a lot of Zoom meetings lately. A lot of you guys know that I'm with child and have just dealt with a lot of morning sickness in the beginning. I actually had a bout of it today for some reason, even though I should be past that. But so it's been fun. This has been a fun pregnancy for me. But anyways, I just have a couple of points. And I don't want to keep you guys too much longer because I know that Jessica has some other stuff that she wanted to go over with you guys. You know what Rachel said? Perfect. I mean, those are totally things that I could have said myself, because they are all things that I wish that I had done. Qualifying ambassadors especially, that's huge. And that's not really something that we even realized or learned. Because Rachel Neagle joined just a month before I did. And so we were kind of newbies together trying to figure it out. So my first point is that I would not have waited a year, yes, a year, to cold message people. We talk about cold messaging people a lot. We post that on the team pages. I know Rachel Rogers has had a challenge recently on cold messaging. I've done that in challenges of my own and stuff because I see the benefit of it now. And I don't know why I didn't. I think it was just so outside of my comfort zone that it just wasn't something that that I did. I wasn't comfortable just totally reaching out to people without them reaching out to me and saying, hey, tell me more about Plexus. But here's the deal. That's how Rachel Neagle reached out to me in the beginning. And it took me a really long time to realize, well, I was cold messaged. That's what she did. Her cold message is not what got me to sign up, but it is what got me to notice her posts more. So when Rachel first started, like I said, she just started about a month before I did. She sent all of her friends and family, not all, but a lot of them, a letter through email, not through Messenger on Facebook or anything like that, but actually like an email. And it was very personal, and it was just basically said, hey, so I found these products and I really thought you might be interested. I thought about you because I know you've struggled with hormone issues and this has really helped me in that area. Here's a little bit about it. And she did. She had been my hormone advocate for years before that. So I trusted her. I knew that she wouldn't attach her name to something that she didn't completely believe in. But at the same time, I was just like, no, thanks. So it took a few weeks. But what happened was she had been posting on Facebook, and then I got this email from her. And then I started taking notice of her posts. And I thought, oh, okay, that makes sense. I get what she's doing now. And so when she posted a testimony, it was actually Sarah Marble's testimony of how she lost like 80 pounds or whatever while she was breastfeeding on Plexus. I was nursing at the time, and it made me take notice of that post. And I don't know that I probably would have just continued to scroll by had she not sent me that first email. So I've really been kind of like thinking about things that I did in the beginning, or that my upline did in the beginning, and stuff, even before Jessica asked us to do this call. And that was something that really kind of came up, and I thought, like I said, I was cold messaged. Why didn't I do that sooner? I actually I couldn't find Rachel's that she sent me. I wanted to put that on my team page for everybody to see how she did that, because it was so personal. But I drafted one that was similar recently and put it on my team page in the files tab, just made a document out of it as an example of something that you can send to friends and family members in the beginning. And it's just short and sweet, and just basically like, hey, I've started this journey. I'm really excited about it. Here's what Plexus is. You know, you're probably going to see me post on Facebook a lot about it. And it's just very simple. So anyway, that is one of the main things that I really wish I would have done. I wish that I would have sent something to my friends and family members. And now I have people on my team. I have customers who wouldn't be there had I not cold messaged them. Some of them I just simply said, hey girl, I want you to do this with me. Come join my team. And they did. And so, and I know Ellen Ford is real big on doing that. I mean, she just calls people out and she's like, yep, you need to join my team. Come do it. Come do it now. And it's just super fun about it. And I think that that's kind of like the best thing that you can do when you're cold messaging people, is to not be salesy, not to have it be super stiff, but just to be super laid back about it and personal, make it personal to them. Like I said, I don't want to keep you guys too long, so I'll stop there with that one. And I'm kind of going, okay, so I have a tendency to not follow rules. And so, Jessica, I'm not following your rule on this one of what I would do in the beginning. Instead, I'm going to tell you something that I wish I had continued to do, something I did in the beginning and I'm not doing a lot of now, and I think it has slowed me down. I don't do very many sip and sees or opportunity meetings. In person in my home, at restaurants, online, any of it. And what happened was, just a few months after I joined, we moved across the state. We moved from Amarillo to Austin. And that kind of derailed that a little bit. However, I have also used that as an excuse, just to be super real with you guys. Because again, it's just not, I don't like public speaking. I'm not a Rachel Rogers, and I'm not even a Rachel Neagle. Rachel can get up in front of a crowd of 500 people and talk about hormones all day long, and I don't care for it. At all. I was a photographer before this. I was a wedding photographer, and I'm more comfortable behind the scenes, behind the camera, than I am in front of it. I'm more comfortable behind the stage than I am on it. So I have definitely used that as an excuse. We've been here for 1.5 years now, and I've still only had 2 sip and sees since we moved here. But that is something that I'm looking at and thinking, my business just shot like a cannon from the get-go. I went silver in 2 weeks, gold in my first month, or gold in my second month, senior gold in my third month, and then we moved, and I didn't rank up again for like 7 or 8 months. And so I think that not doing meetings really hurt me. Not just getting out there, meeting new people, and starting to do meetings again. Something else that I didn't do a lot of after we moved, that I totally could have continued to do. I mean, hello, we're doing it right here, and we're all over the country from each other. We're not even close to each other. So, but was doing training calls. At the time, we weren't doing Zoom. We didn't even know what that was. I don't even think it existed. But I was doing training calls, actual calls on the phone. And I kind of stopped doing those after we moved. I just was a little bit overwhelmed with the move, with all my kids and everything. And, but again, continue to use that as an excuse as to why I continue to not do them. And I think that I would be further along in my journey had I continued to do those things. So there are things that you might look at now that you're like, what should I be doing? And there are things that you're probably doing now that you just need to look at and say, okay, I need to continue to do these. So anyways, that's my spiel for y'all tonight. Any questions?
Thank you, Les. Does anybody have any questions for Les? Don't think so. Okay, I did want to say one thing. Rachel Neagle said, and Rachel Rogers said as well, on qualifying your ambassadors. That's something that I do myself, and I teach my downline to do as well. I think I have a few of y'all on here, but I don't even mention wholesale to anybody unless I know that they're going to be on products that are going to be that 100 PV or over. I'll mention it to them when we're talking about pricing. I'll say the preferred price is this and the wholesale is this. I said, but I want you to try it preferred first to make sure you're going to like it. And then depending on the products they're on, like if they're on the triplex, I'll tell them, you know, if you get on these and you like them, you know, after a few weeks, we decide you like them, then that's enough to qualify you to become wholesale. So that's just my suggestion to y'all. And like they said, I knew kind of, not really from the get-go, but quite a few months, 2 or 3 months in probably, about that. And so that's something that I was grateful for, to know, to do, that these our Jules didn't really know very much about. So I was grateful that Rachel passed that on to us. And I think maybe I heard it from Andrea, maybe a call or something that she did as well. So, but I just wanted to touch on that really fast. And then, like I said, I have a list actually that I took from Chris McCall's call, a whole list and a half. So I did half of them on a call that we did several weeks ago. So I'll just go ahead and read the rest of these. He didn't specify who he got these from, and some of them are repetitive, but he did say that he just kind of emailed and reached out to several of our Jules in the company and asked them basically the same question. And this is what he got back from them. So, okay. One of them said, would not have wanted for people more than they wanted themselves. And that's something that I know I found me and Jen and Kristen doing our calls together that some of us struggle with is, you know, we get people on our team and they kind of struggle in the beginning, or they do really good, but then they kind of fall back and stuff. And you know, we're wanting and pushing for them and stuff like that. And especially these ones that white line early on and stuff. And it becomes more of a strain on us than anything. So I was grateful to hear that. Would be more bold from day one. That was one I heard repeated a lot. Would have shared the business opportunity from day one. Started 3-way chats and team training sooner. Leslie was just talking about that. Surrounded myself with more positive Plexus people sooner. A few of us got to experience that in a lovely Facebook conversation today. We all rallied around one of our sidelines, and just basically Rachel just pretty much took care of business, kind of put them in their place. But that's a whole different story. So, but that was a good example of having positive people, and especially Plexus people, having the positive influence in your life, because a lot of us, this is the only support we get as far as the business goes, the support we get from our Plexus people. We don't necessarily get it from home or like our friends or anything like that. So that's one thing I specifically enjoy having. So would not have focused on weight loss so much, focused on overall health. Followed up with my level 1s through 3 and personally trained them. Run with the runners. Contacted more people directly in the beginning. More reach outs instead of waiting for them to come to me. And one-on-one meetings, like in person versus messaging on Facebook. So like if you live in the same town as somebody, you know, get with them one-on-one person. And I know Leslie and Rachel Neagle talk about this a lot, getting in front of people and actually having like physical conversations with somebody versus something like this, or using the voice chat, or just regular messaging on Facebook. So, but that's the rest of my notes that I have. So again, I thank everybody for getting on and taking the time. We kept it right at about 30 minutes. Yay! That's something we kind of struggled to do. So again, I thank Rachel, Rogers, and Leslie, you guys, for taking the time out to jump on as well. I really appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to share before we jump off? I did record this, so if anybody wants the link, then let me know, or Jen, or any of our uplines that are on this call, and I will pass it on if you guys want to pass it on to your 5 lines or 6 less lines as well. So thank you everybody for getting on.